All right, let's get this party started. Here we are, week 3, geometry, Pythagorean theorem, and all of its awesomeness. Number 1, we'll start right off the bat with finding a missing side. Now, I already see the other two sides are 4 and 5, and the reason I'm doing this and not even drawing the picture is this is one of those that we want to memorize, okay? So I know the answer's 3 without even having to try. Number 2, we have an X, we have an 8, and we have a 10. Okay, the 10, since it's across from the right angle, that's our hypotenuse, which is our C. And these can be your A and your B, so it's going to be x squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared, okay? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And then we're just going to solve this out. I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides. And that was, what is that, a 36? And then we'll square root both sides, and we will get 6. So hopefully you got that. Some of you may have noticed that a 6, 8, and a 10 is the same as number 1, just doubled. And that works every time. If you notice that, then go for it. That's awesome. Number 3, we have a 13 is in the spot of our C. And then we have an X and a 5. It doesn't matter which one is which. I'm just going to do that and not have to draw myself the picture. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So just be careful with which one the c is. The triangle could be turned all different ways. But if it's across from the right angle, it is the c. Okay? So x squared plus 25 is 169. Going to subtract that 25. And I'm going to get 144. Cool. And so with that, when I take the square root, I get 12. Now, some of y'all may have already put the 12 immediately because just like number 1, you realized that that's one of the ones I asked you to memorize. A 5, 12, 13, that's another Pythagorean triple. It's one of the famous ones. So if you notice that, once again, good job. Good for you. Okay, now we have a 9, a 12, and a blank. Now the blank is across from the right angle, so it is the C. It's the hypotenuse, okay? So 9 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. So this is going to be 81 plus 144 equals C squared, which means this is going to be, add this junk together. Okay, that's a 5. 8 plus 14, that would be a 22. Okay, and when you square root, you get 15. Cool. All right, and now we're going to move down to the rest. Okay, now number 5, there's no picture, but it's kind of nice because it actually already gave you the, it already gave you if they're B or they're C or they're A. So on this one, it doesn't give you the A, so that means you're supposed to find it. So a squared plus, they tell you that b is 12 and that c is 15. So you're just filling it in just like this, okay? So now we got to figure this out. Well, we just did this one above. So if you want to look at number 4, I know the answer is going to be 9. But if you didn't know the answer was going to be 9, you would have done this. Even if you're using a calculator, that's totally fine to do some of that stuff. And you would have gotten a is 9. Okay, number 6, same thing. They are giving me the B and the C, so I don't know my A, but my B is 12 squared, and my C is 13 squared. If you memorized your triples, you know that the answer is going to be 5. If you don't know that, though, it's okay. Just write this out and actually math it out. And if you mathed it out, you would get 5. So either way, you're going to get it, even if you didn't memorize it. All right, and then we've got A is 3, the B they didn't give me, and the C is 5. Do you know what that's supposed to be? If you memorized your triples, it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. But if you didn't catch that, sometimes you're just on autopilot, guys, and I get that. Sometimes I'm on autopilot too, and I'm not really thinking before I do the problem. I just start doing it, and so you might have had to do that work, but look, you're going to get the same answer even if you didn't notice what it was supposed to be. And number 8, the A is 6. It doesn't give me the B, but it gives me the C. Okay, so 6 squared is 36, B squared, 10 squared is 100. I want a minus 36 from both sides. and then square root, b is 8. So far everything's been really, really friendly, and these answers have been pretty answers, and so I think that's about to change if I remember this correctly. But yeah, everything's been a nice, pretty number. This is the same exact thing as the ones we just did. There's only another set of directions because it tells you to leave your answer in simplest radical form. So that's probably telling me that, hey, guess what? Guess what, dude? It's not going to be a pretty answer anymore. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we're going to have this. Now, 36 plus b squared equals, okay, 14 squared. Why don't I know 14 squared? I don't know it, so I'm just going to math it out real quick. 196, okay. And then I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides, and that looks like it'll be a 160. And then I got to square root this. Okay, here's the deal. If you wrote your answer this way, you're mostly right, but you're going to get a couple points off from your teacher. Simplest radical form is what we did last week. It's bringing in the whole break this down, right? This breaks down to 16 times 10. And then the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 10 is the square root of 10. So that's what it wanted for a final answer. I'll be curious to see who actually got that right, because a lot of people miss that. Okay, this one, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And now let's figure out b. So we've got 4 plus b squared equals 16. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I'm going to take the square root. And once again, this is mostly right, but not 100%. You need to break that down. That's the square root of 4 and the square root of 3. Now, 4 times 3. Okay, square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 3 is the square root of 3. So we're going to leave the answer like that. That's simplest radical form. All right, number 11. This one says, say if the three sides form a right triangle. So this is you trying to verify. And there was a section of this on the notes, so if you need to look back at that, look back at that. But this one gives you 3 lengths, and you have to decide if it's a right triangle, okay? So take the longest of the 3 and let that be your C. Then what you're supposed to do is decide, does the left side equal the right side? So I like to put a question mark there, like, I don't know, does it equal it? And then I math it out and see if it works. Okay, this is an 81, and then 10 times 10 is 100, and then 15 squared is like 225. So is 100 plus 81 equal to 225? Well, the answer is no, it's not, which means no, this is not a right triangle. No, not a right triangle. If it had been a true statement, or the answer had been yes, they are equal, then you'd say yes, I found a right triangle. All right, let me look at this one, a 5, 12, 13. So 5, 12, and 13, the longest is 13, so let that be your C. And then ask yourself, is this true? Does a squared plus b squared equal c squared? And it should, because this is one of the Pythagorean triples, okay? So that definitely, yes, 169 is equal to 169, so yes, it is a right triangle, okay? And then 13 and 14, find the distance between each pair of points. Now 13, the way I showed you guys to do this is to figure out, sort of take that picture that you see, which it looks something like that, and to count, like make a right triangle out of it and then count all your information. So you're looking for how long this is, and that diagonal is really hard to find unless you think of it as a right triangle. So if you were to draw this on your grid and count down, it looks like it's a length of 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's 5 down, and it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. Then you could do 5 squared plus 7 squared equals, we'll call that C, C squared. 25 plus 49 equals C squared. Let's add those together and get, is that a 74? I think I did that right, y'all. Is that, yeah, 74. And then square root, so the square root of 74 is C. Now, does this break down? That's a good question. Let's see, 4 doesn't go in there. So that means 16, 9 doesn't go in there, 25 doesn't go in there. Does 36 go in there? 36 and 36. Nope, close, but not really. Okay, that is the answer. Now, if you don't like that answer, because some people are like, what? Okay, that is a distance of square root of 74. If you want to approximate it with a calculator, then type that in the calculator. And I don't know exactly what you're going to get because I don't have a calculator. But if I did, I bet it's something like 8 point, let's see, it's between 8 and 9 because 8 squared is 64 and 9 squared is 81, so it's maybe like that, something like that. So if you want to call it 8.6 or square root of 74, either one, that's your choice, okay? All right, number 14, last one. It's a little bitty baby segment, and if you make a right triangle out of that, it looks like this is a length of 2, and this is a length of 2. 1, 2 down, yep, 2 down and 2 over. So it'll be 2 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared, just like we did the one above. So that's 4 plus 4 is 8, and then square root of both sides. No, the square root of 8 is not 4, okay? So we got to break that down to 4 times 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 2 is square root of 2. I would write it like this. If you don't like that, then just do a decimal in the calculator and do a little approximation because it's not exact. You're just rounding it. So, I don't know. Square root of 8's tough. It's going to be like, it's close to 3. So it's going to be like a 2.9 or a 2.8 or something like that. So you can do it in the calculator if you want. Okay. That's it. Now, if you're coming to tutoring with me, we will do more of the application problems, kind of like the ladder against the wall that was in the notes, things like that. Those are more fun with Pythagorean theorem, but this is like big time for next year. This is huge stuff. So you may have to review this video again later, or just, if you want more problems, just email me and I'll send you some more problems. All right, we'll talk to you later.